Now I hope you're sitting comfortably, and I'll begin to tell you the story of Kind Bishop Nicolas. Nicholas had never heard such a sad story. He'd been the Bishop of Myra for many years, teaching and leading and caring for the Christians in that city. He'd helped many people through many difficult times. But when he heard the story of the 3 young girls, well, it almost broke his heart. Their father has no money, a neighbour had explained. The only way he can take care of the rest of the family is to sell 3 of his daughters into slavery. Slavery, said Nicholas. No, we can't let that happen. But what can we do, asked the neighbour. I don't have the money, and nor does anyone I know. Besides, the father would be humiliated if anyone else found out. He made me promise not to tell, and I've only broken that promise for the sake of those girls. I understand, Nicholas nodded. Leave it with me. I'll see what I can do. Bishop Nicolas took the long way home that night. He walked slowly down the narrow streets. People greeted him as they always did. Hello, Bishop Nicolas. How are you, Bishop Nicolas? But instead of his usual jolly smile, all they received was a polite nod. The bishop was deep in thought. When he arrived home, the time for thinking was over. Now it was time to act. And Bishop Nicolas knew exactly what he had to do. He opened a box. A special money box he had hidden beneath the floor. And he took out every coin inside it. It was all that remained of his family's fortune. A fortune that Nicholas had given away, coin by coin and year by year, to the needy people of Myra. There was enough left, just enough, he hoped, to keep the girls from being sold as slaves. But that was only half the problem. How would he get the money to their father without the man knowing that Nicholas had discovered his secret? Bishop Nicolas looked hard at the pile of money. Then he started to move it around. 3 girls, 3 piles, 3 piles, 3 bags. Of course, Nicholas had his idea now. He put each pile into a little leather bag, then tied each bag shut at the top. Then he waited until it was dark, so dark that there would be no one left on the streets. And with the 3 little bags tucked inside his robes, he wandered back through the town. Nicholas chuckled to himself as he walked along. This was a great plan. Soon he came to the house. There were no lamps lit, so everyone was asleep. And so Bishop Nicolas put his plan into action. He pulled the little bags from under his robe, and then he tossed them. 1, 2, 3, through an open window. And then with another chuckle, he hurried back to his home. When the family woke up next morning, they found 3 bags on the floor. Where had they come from? Who had put them there? What was in them? No one could answer the first 2 questions, but when the girls insisted on opening the bags, they all discovered the answer to the 3rd. Praise God, the father shouted. Our prayers have been answered and our family can stay together. No one knows how the truth got out. Perhaps it was the neighbour who told. Or maybe someone else was out there in the dark. Someone who saw the bishop tossing his little gifts through the window. What we do know is that Nicolas grew famous for the care he showed to children. The stories about him spread across the world, and many years after his death, he was made a saint. And then somehow his name was linked with another mysterious midnight traveller, a jolly, kind man who leaves gifts for children and then disappears into the dark.